Well, good afternoon to my NFDA colleagues and also to our special guests. I hope that all of you, your families, and your businesses are healthy and well. Today's a very special day because we get to recognize someone who has made a sizable contribution to our association and has left us in a better place than when he first joined. After earning his MBA from DePaul University in 1970, Don Nowak started his career in the fastener business with Carr Products. At Carr, he worked in marketing, materials management, and administration. During his employment there at Carr, they grew from $10 million in revenue to over $85 million in revenue. Don left Carr Products in 1987 to join the Hoyt Fastener Company, where he managed operations and ultimately was named company president. In 1997, Don moved south to Charlotte, North Carolina, and joined Bruce Roberts at the Falcon Metal Company. Upon Bruce's retirement in 2008, Don purchased the company. Under Don's leadership, Falcon Fastening Solutions, as it is now known today, has grown in revenue by over 500%. Today, Don remains a part-time consultant to the company, which is now led by his son-in-law, Giovanni. Don is a past president of the Midwest Fastener Association and has served on the boards for both the NFDA and the Southwest Fastener Association. Don is also a founding member of the Fastener Advisory Board, or the FAB Group, which is an industry peer group committed to best practices, continuous improvement, and career mentoring. It was as a member of the FAB Group where I got to know Don. For the better part of 9 years, we met on a quarterly basis and reviewed our businesses, our personal and professional challenges, and many industry-specific topics. It was apparent to me from the very beginning that Don was a sharp, knowledgeable business person and that I would learn a lot from him. I was immediately attracted to the level of professionalism that Don displayed in this group. Don isn't afraid to ask a difficult question, nor will he hesitate to give you a truthful answer. When it comes to decision-making, Don is a conservative man who analyzes data and considers all possible outcomes. Don is a critical thinker, extremely approachable, likable, and steady-handed. From day one, Don was the scribe for the FAB Group, always taking copious notes, creating agendas, following up on action items, sending out surveys, and generating reports in a timely manner. His ability to create and execute a strategic plan is legendary amongst us, and Don leads by example. I've always been able to rely on Don. His experience and knowledge have helped me through many troubling times. Like the Rock of Gibraltar, John would always be there for me and for the others. He held us accountable for our actions and challenged us to be better. I will forever be in debt to Don for the many contributions he has made to me, my business, and my career. We all know the saying that behind every successful man, there is a strong woman. And in Don's case, those words ring very true. Don's wife of almost 50 years is Joan. And over the past 15 years or so, I've had the privilege to get to know Joan and spend some time with her. She's a loving mother and grandmother, a supportive wife, and a person of impeccable character and generosity. I know why Don works so hard and is so successful, and it's probably because Joan would kill him if he didn't. Joan, today we recognize you as the First Lady of the NFDA, and we thank you for being a part of our lives. We love you very, very much. I will close on a lighthearted story, and it's one of those you needed to be there types of stories, but I'll tell it anyway. It was at one of our regular FAB Group meetings in Scottsdale, Arizona, where we had gathered for breakfast, and while seated at the table, the waiter began to take our order. When he got to Don, the waiter recognized that Don was the elder statesman in the group and said, "What'll it be, Pops?" Now, we all hesitated for a moment, wondering if we actually heard what the waiter had just said. And I'm sure Don was hoping that we had missed it. But of course we did pick up on it. And after a few moments of awkward silence, we all broke out into good-hearted laughter. And for the gentlemen that were at that table that morning, Don forever became known as Pops Nowak. Now, I wouldn't encourage any of you to approach Don and refer to him as Pops. But for us that were there, Pops became a name that we use with the utmost respect and one that symbolizes our love and our admiration for our leader. So it's without any further ado and gives me great pleasure in this virtual environment to announce the 2020 NFDA Fastener Professional of the Year, my friend and colleague and mentor, Mr. Don Pops Nowak. Congratulations, Don.
Watch out. Mark, great job at kicking this off. I have to say that you honored Don in a very good way and giving his background through the entire industry. But I especially want to share with you that your message for Joan was fabulous. I'm so glad that you included her in the mix of that. Don and I met in the late 90s when NFDA was forming these executive advisory group as a board type setting. And ours we called FAB, Fastener Advisory Board. And that's where I came to know Don because frankly, I did not know the other members except for, I think, Bruce Roberts at the time that was one of the charter members. Don, as you mentioned, was at Hoyt Fasteners at that time in Chicago. And he early on with the meetings that I had with him, he showed his character with his integrity, his solid values that he's always displayed, and his great listening skills. Although since Joan is on this group Zoom, it's possible she would disagree with that. It's sometimes a wife's thing to do that. But he's always demonstrated his ability with numbers and analytical skills. You may hear that from more than just Mark and me, because that is definitely part of Don's makeup. But in addition to that, Mark mentioned about you being a mentor, and you've always been willing, Don, to share with anyone your experiences and to help them within the industry. And that's always been impressive to me. Your timeliness has always been fabulous. You set the example, no question. I remember when Bruce Roberts gave me a call, him being a fellow charter member of FAB, and he wanted to discuss the idea of offering Don a position at Falcon Metal and bring him to the Charlotte area. And I know my first reaction, and I think my comments to Bruce were that, boy, that is going to be a tough sell, because I think this guy is ingrained in Chicago, and so is his wife. So we'll see. But next thing you know, surprise, surprise, he accepted the offer. And from that, the business experienced some great growth with Don's influence on top of Bruce's. So eventually, Bruce, as you heard from Mark, acquired the business, and he's now passing that baton on to Giovanni and to his daughter. So congratulations, Don, on having a great move from Chicago to Charlotte. I think you must have no regrets at this point in the scheme of it. And I also know you're wrapping up your fastener career at this stage of your life. I want you to know that I have valued your advice, your counsel, more, and your friendship more than you can ever know. So congratulations on receiving this honor today. You deserve it.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and congratulations, Don. Like Ron had mentioned, I've been blessed over the years to have had many mentors in the fastener, in my fastener career, and Don is one of them. Don has that unique trait of being calm in a storm, yet quick to coolly celebrate success. In fact, I would say calm under fire and composed in success earmarked Don's leadership style. Don probably doesn't remember this when I asked him about how he developed this leadership skill, and he sheepishly replied, "Jim, I wasn't always as calm in my youth as I am today. Age certainly has played a role in my calmness." So maybe that's part of that pops thing. I'm not sure. Another attribute that Don exhibits is sideline observation. Don said to me once out of the blue, "Jim, I noticed you can drink copious amounts of alcohol and it doesn't appear to affect you like it does the rest of the guys." He said, what do you attribute that to?" I laughed and replied to Don, says, "All I can say is practice, practice, practice." It was then that I began to suspect that Don wasn't always the teetotaler that I came to know and love. So the most impressive trait of Don, and the one which left the biggest and most lasting impression on me, was Don's intestinal fortitude. His decision to go seriously in debt in his very late 50s to purchase Falcon took what the Italians would call big cojones. Particularly when you consider that the ink on the sale document wasn't even dry yet when the Great Recession of 2008 hit. That's big cojones. Don, you are the man. Congratulations on your recognition. You certainly deserve it. And thanks for your friendship and guidance over the years.
Jim.
Can you hear me, Vicki?
Yep, it's all good.
Okay, all right, good. Hello, folks. Appreciate you guys coming in to join our meeting for Mr. Nowak, or as I just learned, his name Pops, so that works out pretty well too. Thank you for having me to do this. I got to tell you, I was really excited when I got the email the other week to ask to speak to Don. I may be more pleased to be asked to speak to Don than he is to get the award. Don and I have been good friends for many, many years, and what a great pleasure it is to say a few words. A little lighter note, we had a little planning session last week, and I didn't realize how many people that were speaking, so it's great that we've gathered such a wonderful group of people to honor Don. To go over the details and speak, help Vicki plan the thing out. As we discussed the speaking order, I was asked where I wanted to speak, and I replied, "Doesn't matter to me as long as I get in front of DERRY, because Bill can talk for a while." My good friend Bill has learned how to speak very well. I first met Don, you guessed it, at an NFDA meeting in the 90s. Don was at Hoyt, I think, in those days and was doing a great job for them. Don and I instantly became friends. We communicated fairly often, and for sure whenever we were at NFDA meetings. We always had something to kick around, something to try to build on, and Don's communication skills with me got along very, very well. A lot of respect, for what he's done and what he did and what he will continue to do. Next thing I know, Don talks about going to Falcon, which I just was really surprised at, because I didn't think I'd ever see Don Nowak or Joan leave Chicago. But lo and behold, he did. And Bruce Roberts, another good friend, had been looking for a top-notch person to assist him. And not to my surprise, Don fit the bill greatly. And knowing Bruce as well as I had for all the years, Bruce, like me, always wanted to do it his way, but Don blended in, and the rest of it is history. And as Paul Harvey used to say, the rest of the story. Don and I have always gotten along well, and through the years, we have been good sounding boards for each other. We still keep in touch since he has started his stepping back process. I do wish him well in his retirement, and that he and his family can do whatever they want to do for as long as they are healthy enough to do it. And I hope that health is for many, many years. I'm very pleased to say congratulations, Don. Well deserved. Thank you, my friend.
All right. So I can't believe it. Rich didn't take the story from me. So Rich, I owe you one. So, you know, one indication of, let's say, Don's lack of experience in the RUETZ form of imbibing is we had a fab meeting in New York City, and Mark Shannon was gracious enough to get us tickets to the Yankees game at the new Yankee Stadium that was down underneath the subway, which is elevated down in the Bronx, and there's a bar right underneath there. And so we decided to go there before the game, and Don orders a fuzzy navel, which I think the first and last fuzzy navel I had was when I was in 7th grade. But anyway, he orders the fuzzy navel, puts a $20 bill on the counter, and we sit there for another half hour or whatever. Rich probably had 4 more, you know, before we took off. And so then we take off for the game, and Don turns to the bartender and is like, "Where's my change?" And the bartender just looks at him like people in New York City look at you like, "What are you looking at?" So I think that was probably the most expensive alcoholic beverage that Don ever had. I'm sure as cheap as he is, it probably drove him crazy. And I'm sure Joan didn't know about that until just right at this moment. So Joan, you can take your speaker off unmute if you want to yell at Don for spending $20 on a fuzzy navel. No, in all seriousness, Don, listen to some of the things that everyone has said about you. You know, what's interesting is that most people that are honored like this have, you know, the so-called big personality. And in your case, you know, I would say it's somewhat the opposite of that. You lead kind of by a quiet example, and you know, that's resonated a lot with me. I try to write some words down that you remind me of as I thought about this, and these are the words that kind of came to me: was honor, integrity, calm, professional, dignified, think before you say. And you know, someone that probably struggles in those areas, you've had a really good influence on me, and I'm still a practicing popsaholic here, trying to you know, make my own comments a little bit more measured. So in these recent times, you know, with things being kind of tough, and whenever I want to honor someone like you, Don, I always go to the words of Teddy Roosevelt. And so I just close by saying this quote that reminds me of you: "Far and away the best prize that life offers is the chance to work hard at work worth doing." And so, Don, I see your grandkids on here, although one of them looks like they might be taking a nap right now, if you want to wave to all of us there. You know, you've been a great peer, mentor, father, and grandfather, and so congratulations. You know, great to have you win this, so good job.
Well, I had planned to be brief and concise, but given Robbie Gilchrist's comments, I'm going to make sure I maximize my ability to do that. Don and I have a lot of common experiences. I first met him when we were both served on the board of the NFDA, and then for a bunch of years as a part of the FAB group that has been mentioned a number of times. And on that basis, I got to know Don both on a personal and a professional level. We both really kind of grew up in the industry, and as a result, I had a lot of opportunity to learn from the successes and the experiences that Don enjoyed in the industry. And the FAB group, that was a big part of it, is sharing those experiences, and that gave me the opportunity to learn from him. In the business decisions, I observed with interest that Don was always focused on doing the right thing. So as I reflected on what are the accolades that stand out in my mind, it's that Don is just genuinely a really good guy. Doing the right thing always seemed to be a guiding principle for him. He saw the interest in the well-being of his team and the development of his team. A lot of leaders talk about that, but Don demonstrated it by the way he managed his business. And I observed that what has been mentioned, his love for Joan, his wife, and his family. I admire their 48 years of marriage and the transition that's now going on with the business into the next generation. A lot of role models have been available to me that I can emulate how people do things in their industry. But Don has been a great role model for how to just be a genuinely good guy. So John, you deserve this recognition, and thank you for being my friend and what you've contributed to me over the years. Thank you.
All right, well, following Bill Derry, I'm glad that I still have something that I can add here today. Drawing the number 7 slot, I had to change some things on the fly here because everyone's pretty much beat me to the point on the things that I wanted to say, but there's still plenty of things to say about Don. I was very happy when Don was going to be honored today and receive this award. Probably happier than Don was in getting it. I was really happy, you know, that he's receiving this today. Don, you're going to now go down in history with the greats like Robbie Gilchrist and Kevin Queenan in the James P. RUETZ. You know, over the years, Don and I, we've had lots and lots of conversations, debates, and discussions. And being the type of people the two of us are, we may not always be on the same page with things, but Don would try to draw me in his direction. I would try to draw Don in my direction. But even if we didn't finish up on the same page when it was all said and done, we each respected each other's opinions, enjoyed the conversation and the company. Over the years, I've also had the opportunity to have a lot of conversation with many of Don's employees, and even bumped into him a few times, you know, abroad, traveling for different shows and so forth. But what always stood out and impressed me the most was the culture that Don created in his organization. And culture is an extremely important part of business, and a lot of people underestimate it. A culture also is a direct reflection of the character of the individual that's driving it. And in the case here, Don is that individual. And when I think about Don, things come to mind like dedication, honesty, determination, very strong moral fiber. And Don, your success in business and life has come about because of the person that you are. You can be very, very hard when you need to be, but you can also be very understanding and compassionate when you need to be. You're a person who's not selfish, but a person who's caring and sharing. And I want to congratulate you here today, once again, and I want to wish you the best in everything that life has to offer going forward. Enjoy your retirement with Joan, but do her a favor. Don't drive her nuts. If you can't find enough outside interest or hobbies, well, give Gio a call. Maybe he'll put you back to work. And if he doesn't, give me a call. So my hat's off to you, my friend. I wish you all the best. And again, congratulations.
You know, just kind of quick note, as Robbie was saying, we had a meeting to figure out, you know, the order and who's doing what. And everybody jumped in and said, Gio, you are last. And everybody was in agreement very, very fast. So just for my ego, I would like to say it's because I was the best. So, you know, let's keep the best for last. So let's keep it that way. But anyhow, you know, I have the unique perspective of being here and talk about Don from two different areas, you know, from the family side and also from the professional side. You know, I had been part of Don's family for the last 20 plus years. And, you know, in my opinion, family is a reflection of how successful you have been in life. You know, you can have a lot of material things, you can have a successful in your business, have a big company and everything. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a family that loves you, that respects you, that like to be together, you know, that enjoy time together, so then why? You know, that's really, to me, that's very key. And I can tell you firsthand that what Don and Joan had built, you know, in the family is just something unique. It's just something that I'm very proud to say that I'm part of the family. And again, and a lot of those qualities that Don has shown on the family side, he has also showed them in the professional side. You know, from the professional side, I had been, you know, working with Don 10 plus years. And I can tell you, you know, things like what Bill and and many more have saying, you know, is Don is always about doing the right thing, you know. All of us here in the call know that, you know, just because we have titles of presidents or owner or CEO, whatever the title is, that doesn't mean anything. You know, at the end of the day is, are people willing to follow us? Are people trust us what we do? And I can tell you folks, here at Falcon, we trust Don. We admire Don, we trust Don, but we always have that sense of that, you know, we were, as we were following Don, that we were doing the right thing, you know. And that's just not something that you just come and do it one time and that's it, and then you start gaining that trust. That's just something constant, day after day, week after week, year after year. And I can tell you, that's what happened here at Falcon. You know, we trust Don to a way that, you know, when he say, hey guys, this is the direction, this is where we were going, you know, we have questions, you know, and we have concerns, but we never doubt that was the right thing to do. And even when things didn't go the way that we were planning or expected, you know, we learned about it, but we always felt that it was the right thing to do, and we felt comfortable because we knew the kind of person that Don is, you know. So Don, from the family point of view, from the business here, from the, as a Falconian, you know, we are very happy and proud for this award, and everyone in here knows that, you know, you are very well deserved of this award. Don, from the personal side, you know, as I say, family and professional, I can tell you that over all these years, I have learned a lot, tremendously, a lot from you, Don. And I believe that I'm a better person professionally and on the family side because of you. So thank you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to continue our professional and family careers going forward. Hey, Don, you know, unfortunately, not everyone here could come and speak and say some words, but what we did a small video, you know, from different people that I know are very special to you and that they think very highly of you. So I know Vicky is gonna show the video for you right now.
Okay.
Hey, Don. Just want to take a second to congratulate you on your NFDA Professional Man of the Year Award. An award well deserved. It's been a real pleasure working with you over the last 21 years. Learned a lot from you, probably more than I ever want to know about fasteners. But anyway, thanks. Really, the only fault I can find is that you're a Duke fan. Other than that, good.
Hey, Don, just want to congratulate you on Fastener Professional of the Year. Seems like you've been a professional throughout everything you do in your life.
Hey, Don, we just wanted to say congratulations on your award. Just wanted to let you know that personally, you have definitely influenced me and professionally, and I appreciate everything you've done. Congratulations.
Congratulations, Don. Well deserved. I've learned a lot from you over the last 9 years. Thanks for everything.
Thanks, Don. Congratulations. We miss having all of your experience and knowledge in the office, but we are happy for your award, and you are most deserving of it.
Hello, Don. I hope this video finds you and Joan well. I want to congratulate you on receiving the NFDA Fastener Professional of the Year Award. It's well deserved. Wish nothing but future success for you.
Hey, Don, congratulations on an award well deserved. You have been a mainstay in our industry for many, many years, and it has been my pleasure to work with you over these last 20 or so.
Hey, Don. I'd just like to take this opportunity to say a heartfelt thank you for every opportunity that you allowed me to take advantage of, that you've given me about. And thank you for, on every step of that journey, we've been together for 23 years now, and every step of the journey, you've been a major part of why I've been successful here. I've learned immense amount from you. And pray that the relationship doesn't end here, that we'll stay in touch, because I would like to continue to learn from you. I have the utmost respect, and I'll hold you in the highest regard as one of the best people I've ever come to know. And I definitely call you my friend.
Congratulations on the award, Papa. Congrats, Papa. We love you.
Okay, Don. I don't know about you, but I'm tearing up.
Wow. Am I on now?
You are on.
Okay. Well, you know, I knew Giovanni would say some nice things about me, because if he didn't, he wouldn't come over for dinner. The other guys were a little bit of a wild card. And again, I really, really appreciate the comments that all the folks have made. I wish I could say I live up to those comments. They gave me a new bar that I've got to sort of raise myself up to. The folks that you saw at Falcon, when I joined the company in '97, and again, I think Ron Stanley mentioned about me not moving from Chicago, but Hoyt merged with another company, Champion Bolt, out of Erie, Pennsylvania. And I was spending my winters in Erie, Pennsylvania. And if you've ever been anywhere around there, it's not a nice place to be. You know, I remember one time I came in on a Sunday night, parked the car, and the next morning I couldn't find the car. I had somebody dig me out. They had a 20-inch snowstorm. So when Bruce started talking about Charlotte and a warmer climate, he definitely got my attention. So that was definitely something of interest. When I joined Falcon, what I found was Bruce really is the one who started the culture of the company. His philosophy was hire smart people, give them an opportunity to grow, and pay them well and pay them fairly. And when I joined the company, 3 of the people that were on this video had already been with the company: Tom Robinson and Carol, who are celebrating their 36th and 35th year with the company, and Mike Broom, who joined the company about 6 months before I did. So we had a really good base of people, and it was really a matter of determining what the proper strategy for growing the business was. Bruce was very, very receptive. You know, he had a good, profitable business that really wasn't growing. And we developed a strategy to grow the business by reducing the customer base. We weren't going to be all things to all people. We were going to define a specific strategy. We were going to focus on a specific market. And we were fortunate enough to have that strategy be effective and grow the business. From a personal standpoint, I think someone had mentioned about me not wanting to go back up north. That's definitely true. Although Joan said she's not going any further south than here. And again, I really appreciate your comments about Joan. She's my life partner. And I had to do a little convincing of her to be able to move south. She had some doubts, especially about going into debt and relocating from family. But it's turned out very well. Again, it's been a 50-year journey, if you will. I started in the industry in 1970. I've learned a lot. I've had mentors who have helped me out. I would tell you, anybody who's on this call, that you know, networking is really critical. After I got my first job at Carr, I never looked for another job. The jobs came to me. The one at Hoyt Fastener came to me through a friend, Ron Sackheim. And through the involvement with Bruce on the Fab Group, the opportunity at Falcon came up. So the networking, the involvement in associations, specifically with the NFDA. When the NFDA decided to go with the executive network, I think it was a great decision. It gave me an opportunity to meet a number of wonderful people, including the gentleman that have spoken today. And I have to really work hard now to earn what they've told me I am. And that's going to be a bit of a challenge. But again, I really appreciate the recognition, and even more so the recognition for lifelong friendships that I've developed with the folks in the NFDA and specifically with the Fab Group. And thank you very much. And I'm choking up a little bit, so I think I'll leave it at that.
Don, that was pretty amazing. It's been a great morning with everybody sharing what they love about you and respect about you. I've unmuted everybody, so if anybody wants to pop up and say anything else, this is your opportunity. How can we say anything, add to what everybody else has already said?
Well, I'll just say that I think
Don.
it's a shame that we weren't able to do this in person, but considering our limitations, this really turned out quite well.
Agree.
Thank you.
And it's going to be memorialized. We'll post the recording on the website next week.
Oh, thank
I
you.
just want to thank everybody for taking the time to come and respect Don's award.
There's
Hey,
an awful lot of
Vicki.
people on this call. Yes.
Hey, Vicki, I think we'll probably try to do something the next meeting, whenever that is, to have Don there and receive something in person, would we not?
Absolutely.
Could it be a fuzzy navel?
Oh, I think it should
You have 20 bucks on you, Don.
That'll cost more than 20 bucks now.
I heard a rumor that the next meeting's in Erie in January.
You'll love that.
No way.
We can make that happen.
Hey, Don, this is Russ. Thanks for letting me be a part of this celebration. I just want to say this is a very deserving recognition, and thank you for your friendship, for your example, and for your encouragement. This is well deserved. Congratulations.
Thank you, Russ.
Okay, everybody. I really appreciate everybody being here today to honor our 2020 Fastener Professional of the Year, Don Nowak. Sounds like it couldn't have gone to a better person.
Prohibition, Don.
Thank you. Thank you, folks.
Congratulations, Pops.
Be safe, folks.
All right.
Thanks,
Bye,
Becky.
everybody.
That's done. Bye. Bye, everybody.
Take care.